got here so fast, but as we get older, the faster it goes.
I say, by the time 4th of July gets here,
Summer's
it'll be
over?
September before.
Yeah, I know, I say that all the
Serious?
time, it's true, you hit July 5th, it's like Labor Day's here.
Yeah,
Not to be cynical or anything,
that's
but
the truth, though.
Summer gets shorter every year.
it does.
How does that happen?
Yeah, it's because we get older.
July 5th is like Labor Day's here.
We're on.
We're on delay?
Is there a delay in
Yeah.
case someone uses foul language, you can hit the button?
Oh.
Is that why there's a delay?
If I could keep up, I don't know.
Do we have to curb our language now?
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so many live broadcasts, there's like a 15-second delay so they can hit the bleep button. But usually people are behaving here. I don't think we need it.
Karen's running a little late. Hey, Dave.
Hi.
Hey, Derek.
Wait.
Good, how you doing? Good.
How are you? Good. Good. How are you?
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave, how's it going?
Nicholas, good?
I have 7 o'clock, but you said Karen's running a little bit late.
Yeah.
Did you say how long?
Didn't say how much.
All right, why don't we give it 5 minutes?
Okay.
And then I think we can at least start with a few things, and maybe she'll walk in midway.
actually review seeker part 1 and 2.
Well, I noticed she only put part 2 down, but,
I did. That's my mistake.
okay, because I
Because
was,
we didn't, I don't think we did it last week.
I don't believe we did.
No.
And actually, just as procedure, we should probably always do them both
Yeah.
the same meeting. All right, 2 more minutes and we'll start to get things rolling. Sorry, Kurt, we're just gonna wait for Karen, just because
That's
she's
fine.
one of our experts.
Always willing to wait for Karen.
Good. You have a cleaner face this time than you had? Didn't you have a mustache or something else going on?
I shaved something off.
You don't even remember what?
My lame attempt at some sort of facial hair, you know?
Drown just before we start. Karen may get more time than she was going to get. All right. Well, 7:05. I have a feeling she'll walk in while we're just kind of getting started with the main stuff anyhow, so why don't we open up our meeting. Welcome, Kurt, our only live human here at our June 21st Zoning Board of Appeals.
Excuse me, I'm alive.
Oh! Our only live guest? How about that?
Your cardboard-
Caught me off.
Cardboard cutouts.
You caught me off guard, Ann. You were so still there for a moment. Yeah, welcome to our June 21st, 2023 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Vivian, if you would do a roll call, please.
Tom Zarecki's not here. Ann Hardman.
Here.
Freddie DeVito.
Here.
And Nicholas Worley.
Here.
Is here. Karen is.
Expected shortly. Why don't we all stand for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, today's meeting, we're going to be listening to Kurt briefly, going over his 54 Fairway Drive project for Adam Morawski. Couple things though, we had a public hearing on this on the 24th of May. At this point, we have 30 days that have passed since we had stated the intent of the Zoning Board of Appeals to be the lead agency for a seeker review. 30 days has passed, so at this point tonight, we will assume that we now are the lead agency.
There she is.
Wonderful.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just started.
We
Okay.
literally just got started, Karen. All we've done is assume lead agency status.
Okay.
So we
Good
had
job.
we had a feeling that you'd be coming in shortly.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. Welcome
Thank you.
on the summer solstice. So why don't we next review the 5 area variance criteria? Oh, actually,
Do we have to vote on it when we, oh, no.
no. Actually, Kurt, you look like you're ready to give us a little recap. So since you're up, let's
Okay.
do that first.
Okay. Just make it quick and simple here. Basically, 53 Fairway Drive, we have a 1-car garage with a shed below. It's about 12 by 28 right now. It's falling down. It's within 3 feet or plus of the side yard setback. So we're proposing to tear that down, rebuild, basically the same footprint, same location of the building on the northerly side, and then extend to the south by about 4 feet, so it'd be 16 by 28. So it's not extending anymore into the wetland area. And actually, we're about 50 feet from this, well, it's pretty much a drainage ditch that goes down through here. It's a defined channel that goes down through, and then about 100 feet to the mowed backyard of the property, which is where the wetlands start, where they were flagged by the DEC.
Mhm.
So there's about 100 feet of maintained lawn between the
Right.
back of the garage and we also need a variance for coverage. We're at 20% now, which is pre-existing non-conforming. We're proposing to be at 21%, so it's a slight increase in coverage on the site.
Right.
So,
All right. And you've come before the board for essentially, it looks like 2 variances.
correct.
One is the increase in percentage of lot coverage, and the other one is a increase in nonconformity because you're extending the garage 3.4 feet in one direction.
No, it's actually not an extent. We're keeping that same lot line. We're
Right.
not going any closer.
Oh, right.
You need 5 feet. We're at 3.5, so.
That's right.
3.4.
I see,
excuse
that's
me.
right. There is no increase in that particular
Yes.
instance. Okay. Got it.
So we're going to the south, which is not any closer. It's within the allowable area on the side.
Right, okay.
Zoning regulations.
Great. All right. Thank you. Does anybody on the board have any questions? I know we've gone over this times with Kurt before. All right. Why don't we review the 5 area variance criteria? I'll be reading from a sheet that was submitted by the applicant. First one is that the granting of the variance will not result in an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The applicant's answer is no, the garage location is existing and typical of accessory structures in the neighborhood. Board members, if at any point you guys have a difference of opinion on these answers, please let me know. I'll assume if you guys don't say anything, and I'm not saying anything negative as well, that we all agree with the applicant's interpretation, or answers, I should say. Number 2, the benefits sought cannot be achieved by some other feasible method. The applicant says that no, the site is very narrow and the garage could not be accessed in another location. Number 3, is this variance substantial? Yes, but location of the garage is existing, the existing lot is only 50 feet wide. The required side yard setbacks do not leave any usable land. Number 4, will there be an adverse effect or impact on physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? The applicant answers no, the garage location is existing. And number 5, was this difficulty self-created? No, the garage has been in place for many years and is too small for current vehicles. Garage footings and foundation are failing. The existing lot is very narrow and is pre-existing and non-conforming anyway. I personally feel that the answers on this are accurate. Board members, are there any questions or any disagreements you have with the applicant's answers to these? Okay, so I think we've reviewed these and approve of the answers given. Now, Kurt, I know that you're going to have to, in order for this to be satisfied by the DEC, you have to give them a secret determination.
Correct.
So they don't consider your application finished until that's done. I know you guys have given them a check, according to some of the records here. So we'll go through seeker short form assessment, part 1 and part 2 tonight. and we'll go through part one first. Number one, does the proposed action involve legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? The answer was no. Again, board members, if there's anything here that you have a question about or disagree with, let me know. These are answers supplied by the applicant, and we'll just go through them, and if we agree, we'll keep moving forward. Number two, does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency? Yes. In this case, the DEC is involved because of the proximity to wetlands, and they have been working with them for the project. Number four, check all land uses that occur on or are adjoining or near the proposed action. This is residential and other because of the Great Swamp. Number five, is the proposed action permitted use under the zoning regulations? The answer to that is yes. And is it consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? The answer to that also is yes. Number six, is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape? The answer to that is yes. Number seven, is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin a state-listed critical environment? The answer to this is yes, again, because of the Great Swamp. According to Dutchess County 2-8-92.
That's when it was made a critical environmental area.
Got it. Thank you. Will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in the traffic above present levels? No. Are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? No. Are any pedestrian accommodations or bicycle routes available on or near the site of the proposed action? Yes. Does the proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? Yes. Number 10, will the proposed action connect to an existing public or private water supply? No. Will the proposed action connect to existing wastewater facilities? Also no. Number 12, does the project site contain or is it substantially contiguous to building, archaeological site, or district which is listed on the National or State Register of Historic Places or that has been determined by the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places? And the answer to that is no. Boy, that's a long one. Is the project site or any portion thereof located in or adjacent to an area designated as sensitive to archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office? And the answer to that also is no. Does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by a federal, state, or local agency? The answer is yes. We've mentioned that the DEC is involved in this. Would the proposed action physically alter or encroach into any existing wetland or water body? It does not appear it will be encroaching into the wetland area because we're moving south, which is in another direction. The answer to that is no. Number 14, identify the typical habitat types that occur on or are likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. We really should check.
I guess that would be suburban, maybe we should have on that.
Yeah.
And also wetland is not checked off either here, simply because of proximity. I believe we should have that checked off. Does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? The answer to this is yes, because of the proximity of possible bog turtles. And I know that I think you've been in communication, Kurt, correct me if I'm wrong, with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation relative to the bog turtle?
The DEC was out there and looked at it, and they really didn't, because it's manicured or maintained lawn way back on the site.
Right.
There's really no habitat for the bog turtle there. And honestly, you could probably do more damage with a lawnmower to the bog turtle than you can by the construction of the garage.
Right.
That's my personal opinion.
I mean, I'm certainly no expert.
Right,
But I would defer to whatever
yeah, but
agency.
Sarah, who was out with me at the,
Mhm.
from the DEC, didn't seem to have any concern because it is lawn area. It's
Okay.
already maintained.
So at this point, there hasn't been any correspondence. It's been live interaction. With
Yes, and they probably will come up in the
So they'll
permit.
probably respond to that particular item.
Correct.
When they respond to your
I
application.
would think so. Yes.
Okay, great. Just wanted to check on that. Is project site located in the 100-year floodplain? Yes. Will the proposed, number 17, will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? The answer is yes. Will stormwater discharges flow to adjacent properties? No. And will stormwater discharge be directed or established conveyance system into runoff and storm drains? And the answer to that is no. 18, does the proposed action include construction or other activities that will result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? No is the answer to that. Number 19, has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? The answer to that is also no. Point 20, has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the subject of remediation ongoing or completed for hazardous waste? The answer to that is yes. I guess there's a
I think that's Riley's garage. I believe that's Riley's garage here on the corner.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That automatically populates by the DEP.
Yeah, okay.
website.
No problem. Okay, so that is the seeker short form number 1. So Karen, I want you to keep me on track here.
Mhm.
Having gone through this and agreeing with all of the answers supplied, do we approve of this seeker form as filled out? And what do we call this when we move forward from this form if we vote on this and approve?
So to make a secret determination, you should
Go through
use
both.
the Part 2 form.
Okay.
And then the Part 3 form is simply just the documentation of your secret determination. So in the Part 1 form, the applicant's be providing to you all the information relative to the potential to cause significant adverse impacts to environmental resources.
Mhm.
And you're going to use that information, so it's good that you review it to make your impact assessment in Part 2, which is in this. Do you have it in your package?
Yeah.
Okay. And so these are, I think it's important to read the Part 1, definitely important to read the Part 1. Everyone should be reading that
Mm-hmm.
before they come to the meeting. I don't know that you necessarily need to go through it at the meeting, though there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do need to go through at the meeting is the Part 2.
Got it. I mean, I totally understand your advice on Part 1 and probably getting that done ahead of time, but there were a few questions that I also had too because of some of the wetlands concerns and other possible correspondence.
Sure.
So I don't regret we did that, but
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Nothing wrong.
These things do take a bit of time to go through.
Yep. So yeah, you could run through this, and then, I've also, to assist you all, made some of my own determinations based on the information that's been provided,
Got it.
and I gave you a summary of that on the Part 3 form,
Got it.
and you can see if you agree with me.
Okay. I read it earlier, so I'm fairly confident that we'll be in agreement.
Okay.
All right, so let's go through our short environmental assessment form, Part 2. Starting with point number 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? The answer is no. No or small impact may occur. Number 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use of the intensity of the land? The answer to that is also no. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or a walkway? It will not. No is the answer. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate? Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? I think I know what that's trying to say. It's worded a little strangely, but no, I think is the answer there. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No. Will it impact existing public or private wastewater treatment facilities? And that is also a no. Number 8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Number 9, will the proposed action result in the adverse change to natural resources? For example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna. There is a disturbance within previously disturbed lawn area, and the New York State DEC Article 24 regulates wetland buffer permit being sought.
So I added that.
Got it. It appears that it will not have an adverse effect, although I suppose part of this is going to be answered also by the DEC's final determination from the applicant. Is this
Yes.
pending?
It is, but you can kind of look at it this way. If they don't give them a permit, then they can't get a building permit.
Right.
And they can't.
Correct.
Roger.
Right.
Got it. All right, so we'll say no for now pending the DEC making their determination. Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. And number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? The answer to that also is no. Karen has written up I guess this is part 3, conclusion, based on the answers to this form. Put these glasses on. Here we go. Just take a moment here. Okay. Karen, I'm going to read from your conclusion directly here, if that's all right.
Sure.
The applicant has provided a response to the 5 area variance criteria that the board is required to consider in granting a variance. And the rationale provided by the applicant is reasonable and explains that the lot is constrained by its narrow shape and that the existing garage is not usable given its size and deterioration, and that the increase in nonconformity from the existing condition is not significant. The project site is developed with a residence and existing garage in the lawn area. The project to replace the garage with a slightly larger garage within the maintained lawn area will not result in disturbance to non-maintained lawn area, which supports ample wildlife. Furthermore, the project does not change the existing setback from the DEC-regulated stream and the DEC-regulated wetland. As the property is currently encumbered by the DEC-regulated 100-foot buffer to wetland, DP-22, the applicant will seek an Article 24 permit for activities and disturbance within the regulated 100-foot setback. The applicant has had the wetland flagged by the DEC and is currently in coordination to obtain this permit. As part of this coordination, a silt fence was determined to be necessary and will be installed downslope of the work area. Based on this information, the project will not result in significant adverse impacts to environmental resources. This is Karen's opinion. I happen to be in agreement with it. Board members, any comments on Karen's opinion about points that we've just covered and all the questions and answers that we've gone through? You feel similarly? Yeah, okay.
I could just add one thing.
Sure.
I can say in my experience with the DEC that if they do have a concern over potential impacts to wetlands, we would know that by now.
Okay.
The applicant would be kind of having more coordination with them. There would be a stall to the process. They wouldn't be making any advancements. They probably wouldn't have gotten this notice of incomplete application. And once we get involved, the DEC will in their own way express to us that they're an involved agency and they hope that their concerns are being heard.
Right.
So I feel very confident that we are, if you all choose to make a negative declaration, that there are no potential adverse impacts to wetlands.
Okay. I'd like to just discuss with the board briefly. I feel that a negative declaration for seeker here is well supported by the documentation. Fred and Ann, how do you guys feel about?
Great.
Okay. Then I'd like to have someone make a motion to issue a negative declaration for the seeker evaluation on this project?
I'll make a motion.
All right, I'd like to have, can someone make a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of declaring a negative declaration for the seeker evaluation on this project, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you have your negative declaration for
Okay.
seeker.
Great.
Which means that you can then supply that to the DEC.
Right,
They'll then consider your application to be complete.
okay.
Now, I know that you were hoping to have a kind of preliminary decision
Yeah,
by
I
the
thought
board.
I'd throw it out there only because
I know.
with the timing and everything, because we need to get this, I don't know how fast Viv can turn that around, just to get it to the DC.
Right.
I guess we have to publish it for 15 days,
Yeah.
once they have the application complete.
So is this the written document that should be provided to?
So you would, so they have the part 1 because they were circulated to, and then you just send the part 3. Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, go on.
Then
So-
the public notice, that's your responsibility.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think they
Yeah.
just need to
Yeah, I just wanted to
give us the
clarify that
notice or
for
whatever,
her.
but I just wanna make sure they have everything to deem it complete. Then they can authorize us to put the notice in the paper or whatever, and then the 15-day period.
Can you what?
Give this to him now, or,
Yeah, definitely, yeah,
because I have plenty of copies.
yeah. Should give him the part 2 as well, just so he has it for his records.
So I'd like to ask a question to Dave
But
that,
we just need Nicholas's signature on that.
Oh,
I'll give it to you right now.
So I guess to just further that conversation, is just like, is there any way this board might entertain a conditional variance?
I'm about to ask that question to our legal expert right now.
I mean, I would say, just give them, if you're inclined, so inclined, give them the variance. I mean, it's a separate, you've gone through your seeker.
So if we give them the variance and
Yeah.
somehow the DEC denies this,
then there's
it's
no
moot
problem.
anyhow,
Absolutely.
whether or not we've
Just
rendered a
like any other-
decision.
Just like any other
I mean,
site plan or.
in a way, we're kind of putting the cart before the horse because we really should wait. But I know that summer's beginning, construction time, this is kind of a good time to get going.
Nicholas, can I just say, I don't think you are doing anything. I think it's totally, this is what you do with
Got
site
it.
plans, with special permits. I mean, it really, if everything had to be done at the same time, it would be a very difficult, especially given.
Point taken.
You're the keys to the kingdom, so, yeah.
Point taken.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a couple of variances here that.
Would you reiterate the variances you're going for? Because I know one of them dropped off when,
Yes, we need,
right?
we need the 2 variances, so we need 1 for site coverage. So lot coverage, excuse me. So that's everything impervious on the site.
Mhm.
You're allowed 15% in the zone. We're currently at 20%. With the addition to the garage and rebuilding the garage, we'd be at 21%. So we have an increase, over what is allowed, we're 6% over that.
So you are requesting a variance of 6%.
Or to allow us to get to 21%. However you do the math, but, and then the other variance we need is side yard setback for an accessory structure, which you're required to have 5 feet. We're currently at 3.4 feet. So we need a 1.6 foot variance to allow us to build at that 3.4.
1.6 feet, this sounds huge to me.
Yes. 1 shovel width.
Yes. All right. Board members, I tend to think that these variances that Kurt is asking for are not major, that these are small increases. 6% lot coverage variance, which is only 1% over what it currently is, and the 1.6 foot side yard setback also does not seem to be that significant. Any opinions that you guys have on that? Do you think it's significant? Do you think it's insignificant? Do you have any questions? Do you guys, would you guys be okay to bring 2 of a motion and a vote?
Yes.
In approving these? Okay. Dave, can we do these both at once?
Yeah.
With one motion?
Yeah.
All right, we'll try to be efficient here. Can I have a motion for someone to grant a variance of 6% on lot coverage and also to grant a 1.6 foot yard setback variance for the project proposed by Kurt for the Murawski property. It was a long, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right.
For the 6% and the 1.6 feet.
Can I have a second on that?
Second.
All right. All in favor of approving these two variants of 6% lot coverage and a 1.6 foot yard setback, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
I said, oh, I'm sorry, finish that. Finish that.
Any, I also say aye. Anyone opposed? There's no one here, so we have a quorum, and you have gotten both of your variances approved. Kurt?
I think I missed something along the way.
Yeah.
So what about the 70-foot thing, the 30?
We determined
You okay?
after this, we were kind of looking at
I'm
both of
sorry,
the
I missed
projects I
that.
had.
Sorry.
With an accessory structure, it's different than a principal
okay,
structure,
got it,
so
got it.
that dropped off.
Got it.
Okay? Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate your work on this. So,
You're welcome, Kurt.
Okay.
See you again. I'm
All
sure
right.
we'll see you again soon.
You will.
We'll keep that seat right there for you.
Thanks. Have a great night.
You too.
All right. All right, so at this point, our next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the May 24th meeting. I've had a chance to read them, and I didn't see the need for any changes on the minutes. Fred, Ann, did you guys have any suggestions for any changes?
No changes.
I did read them, don't have changes.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the Zoning Board of Appeals May 24th meeting?
I move that we approve the minutes from the May
4th?
24th meeting.
And I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, the minutes are approved. I think don't have any other business. Were there any other questions or items that anybody wanted to bring up as part of the regular business tonight? No? Okay, can we have a motion to close tonight's formal meeting?
Make a motion.
And a second, please.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, today's meeting's closed. Thank you, everybody. But Dave, before you go, and